but you were able to, come back and tie the game late. Maybe there was a missed call there on Themis on their inbound, but you have a foul to give, you give it. What did you kind of see on that final shot? Riley's guarding him, obviously kind of touching him a little bit. What did you see in that final sequence?
Well, I just saw us defending with 3.3 on the clock. I just wanted to make sure we had basically a helmet on the helmet, which means everybody had a man, so no one was free. And we were going to just guard as hard as we could the guy that was in front of us. Unfortunately, we picked up the foul, and the young man, made a free throw, and then of course he ran the clock out by throwing it off the rim. And it was pretty straightforward. The young man, made a good play at the end. He got fouled, and we have to do a better job of guarding with discipline.
Part of your comeback there was slowing down guard Cameron Carr. You had 20 in the first half and 6 in the second. What did you guys adjust at the half to limit him?
Well, he's a great player. I mean, he's one of the best players in our league. He can really score the basketball. He's long. He's mobile. And we just wanted to just try to guard him as hard as we could. Everybody that was guarding him, I didn't want it to be a personal challenge. Everybody that was on him at different times, I wanted them just to sit down and guard as hard as they could, make it as difficult as they possibly could for him, because we know he's good. We know he's going to score some points. He's done it all year long. I think he averages almost 20 a game and shoots over 50% from the field. So he's really a very efficient player. And I thought our guys just played him hard in the second half and tried to be disciplined.
Coach, Baylor really built up that cushion in the first half there, partly from the three-point line. What were you seeing from your team's perimeter defense, maybe in comparison from the first half and the second?
Well, first I give Baylor all the credit. First of all, I mean, Baylor played terrific, but especially in the first half. They set a tone. Offensively, they moved the basketball. I think they have 19 assists. They were connecting really well, and they were knocking down shots. I thought, we have to do a better job of, giving more resistance defensively. Whether it's at the three-point line, and making sure that we don't give too many second and third shot opportunities, because we end up giving them 16 offensive rebounds. So all those things add up in a game like this. That's 1 point.
Johnny, John had picked up his, I think it was fourth foul late in the second half, but you left him out there. I'm sorry, third foul. You left him out there for the majority of the second half. Did you feel like when he was on the floor, he was the best option you guys had at that point?
Yes, I did. I thought he was impacting the game. If you look at the numbers, when he was in the game, it was a tied ball game. You look at the plus minus, he was +8 for the game. I mean, so he was doing a lot of good things for us, and we missed him in the first half because I thought, like I said, when he was in there, everything, both teams were kind of, in rhythm, but I thought he did a good job of maybe changing some shots, getting some rebounds that maybe we wouldn't have gotten with him out the game. And so I think we missed him down the stretch of the first half, to be quite frank, when they made their run. I thought, having him out there would have been good. So the second half, of course, we were going to try to play him as much as we could, based on the fact that he didn't log a lot of minutes in the first half anyway because of foul trouble.
Going into a locker room after a controversial loss as a coach is really hard. So how do you reinstate the team, let them know that the season's not over right after a loss like that?
Well, we have to be ready to move on to the next play. This league is very challenging. From top to bottom, I've said it all season long, and ever since I've been in the Big 12. Every team is very good. Every team is really talented and well coached. And so you have to understand that, and what you have to do is you have to, get back, get our guys together, start watching tape. What are the things the lessons we need to learn, the good and bad, and then you need to move forward, understanding that the next game is the most important game that you have. The game that's behind you is gone. The next game is the most important. And understand you have to stay in the moment. You cannot go looking beyond the next game that we have, which is Oklahoma State. That's where we have to pour all our energies into, as coaches and as players.
Jeremy Fumetta tonight, within the first 10 minutes of the first half, it's a pretty hard ball after attempting a layup. Is there any way you can give us an update on his current condition?
I'm not sure. I haven't spoken to the trainer exactly about what's going on with him, other than took a tough fall, and we'll see. But I'm sure we're going to do everything we can to treat him and to get him as healthy as fast as we can. Because Jeremy, we missed him out there tonight as well. But that's tough. This game, you're going to take falls, and sometimes you're not going to get up like you want to. And we'll see where he is, but I don't have an update as to where he is right now.
Johnny, Baylor's having a down year for their standards as a program. Is it extra frustrating to drop this game at home in a close fashion towards the end of the season as you guys are trying to build your tournament resume?
No, absolutely. It's just, to me, it's always just losing in general. I don't really think about the tournament or resumes or that kind of stuff. I look at one game in front of me and who we're playing, and we want to win. And so, yeah, that's the only way I approach it. There's no real anything other incentive I have other than wanting to win the game that I'm playing against the other opponent. And so for that, definitely disappointing. But I give them credit. My hat goes off to them. I thought they played a really good game on the road. I thought these players came out, they played together. They made a lot of plays. They made a lot of winning plays throughout the game, and they made the last winning play.
When did you know that JaMychal and Riley were going to be available? And particularly JaMychal, we saw him against BYU. Looked like he was in a lot of pain with the ankle injury. So when were those guys kind of cleared? And what was their work during the week to get ready?
I felt better about Riley. The last day or so that he may be able to go, and with JaMychal, I didn't know until pretty much game time that he would go. I wasn't certain if he would be able to go. He warmed up right before the game in the last 20 minutes down, and that's when he said he thought he could give it a go.
From an offensive standpoint, what did you like about Riley Kugel returning to the lineup and giving you what he did?
Well, he's a talented young player, and of course, he's one of our best players, and so, I think you're always better when your best player is able to play out there on the floor for you, and so it's good to have him back. And I thought he gave us, everything that he had. I thought he gave us everything, considering he's been out for quite a while. He's missed several games and very limited practices, and so I thought for what he went through, and it was impressive because a lot of players couldn't have done what he did tonight based on the limited reps he's taken since the injury.
You guys trailed by 15 late in the first half, and you guys, I think, fell down by 8 pretty late in the second half, too, and always rallied back to get it to the last possession. What does that say about the resilience of this team, and even in this late stage of the season, what are you maybe still learning about this group and how they play together?
Well, and like I said, I've said it all year with our guys, they're very competitive, and they're going to keep competing for 40 minutes. I think they've shown that for the most part throughout the season. They have the ability to really dig down, dig deep, and find that quality that you got to have in order to try to rally. And you hate to be in those positions, but for the most part this season, I thought our guys have done a good job of fighting for UCF and giving everything they have on the floor, and that's what you want to see from a group of guys, and they provided that.
Few more.
Coach, what do you learn from a game like this, and what do you think they need to do in order to turn things around tomorrow? Because tomorrow is the last time you're going to have home field advantage this season.
Well, Tuesday.
Right.
Where we're going to end up, competing against, another really good team, and we know that. It'll be senior night for our guys. We understand that too. And so we need to just prepare. I haven't, seen, Oklahoma State since the last time we played them, but I know they're very good. I know they have really good players, and I know they're coached well, again, like I said, with all the teams in the league. And so we have to prepare accordingly for them starting, tonight.
Coach,
Johnny, when you look at the emotions that come in a game like this at the very end and everything, how do you make sure everyone's kind of on that still on that emotional high going into that last game or the last home game?
Well, we have to be careful, with guys. Everyone is a lot of emotions are running, in that last game at home, and I think it's probably a little bit different, some years ago than it is now because players are moving around, a lot. So it's not like, they've been here for 4 years or 3 years and they've been with us and our community's been here with that same player. I think and these guys have been in a lot of different places. And so I think our student body, I think they'll be great, and appreciative of our players and what they're doing this season. I think our community will come out and rally around them as well and try to give our players a great send-off. And I need our players to come out and just play their hearts out like they've done most of this year. Go out there and just play your hearts out for 40 minutes and, and have no regrets. It's about your effort and your energy on the court.
Coach, is senior night a little different now? These guys have only been here a year. You couldn't build a relationship with these guys that you could for guys that were here for 4 years.
No, we've had to kind of fast track those relationships as best we could, with team building and spending time with our guys. But of course, the more years, the better the relationships are going to be. But we've tried our best to try to have great relationships with our guys. Not just myself, but my staff has done a great job of understanding the importance of that and making sure that we're one family. And I think our players have been very appreciative of that. They've been to a lot of different places, but hopefully their stay here has been. They'll feel different. They'll feel they're part of our family for life. Whether it's 1 year or whether it's 40 years. You're still part of UCF. And you're always going to be a Knight. That's the way we try to treat our players, and hopefully they appreciate it.
Last one.
Coach, just quickly, I mean, we know Baylor turned over a lot of their new players in the roster this year. Obviously, UCF turned over almost all of their players. What is that roster composition like? What is that like, making a roster in the off season? And did you see something that you try to look for in next year when players graduate?
Well, I mean, great question. Right now, I'm just totally concentrating on what's happening right now in front of us. We'll start to, evaluate and look at those things at the end of the season and what we'll need going forward. But as of right now, all I'm thinking about is our next game and how we need to prepare. Roster construction, I'm sure everyone does it differently. I think they've done a really good job with their pieces and some of the players they have as well. And so it's just part of the game now. But I won't even concentrate or even think about that. I want to pour everything I have into my players that I have right now today. I owe it to these guys, and I think we owe it to these guys to make sure that my staff and I, that we give them everything we have. And part of that is staying focused on the main thing, and the main thing is our next game and being at our best for that one.
Great.
Thank you, Coach.
Thank you all.
Thank you, Coach.
Got it, guys.